Which gem and skill are better for your new Sorceress in Path of Exile 2 that you're leveling perhaps like I do? Spark or Arc? Before I answer that question, or at least give you my perspective at this early leveling phase in Act 2, I can start by saying the following. There is no reason for you, my friend, to make your life more complicated and simply insist on going pure lightning output and not rely on minions. If you haven't watched my video where I told you how to simply beat bosses of Act 1 where most sorceresses would be struggling, it's very simple. You need to embed minions into your build. Here is I'm showing to you my attempt to dance around Wrathbreaker. Wrathbreaker is obviously a rather complex boss for the start of Act 2, while the builds are not too solid, while the gear is a bit crappy. And I can tell you that without external help of, let's say, using minions, like I am going to resort to here, it's very, very, very hard. I'm not going to say it's not doable, but you're going to be rolling around there, plucking your hairs out and just stressing out, and why would you want to do that? So before we even talk about Arc versus Spark, I can tell you, make your life easier, and first and foremost, do what I did. Swap your wand for a scepter. If you can find a scepter with some boosts of elemental or lightning damage, good for you. I haven't seen any. It's fine. Just try to boost lightning damage, obviously, for your Spark or Arc for that matter, on your other pieces of gear, and otherwise go for minions. Right now I am using Skeletal Warrior obviously for free from my scepter. I use Flame Wall to summon Raging Spirits. Absolutely, mate. You absolutely need that. Spell Cascade does more Flame Walls. Fire Mastery increases the support fire skill. But ultimately this thing is not the ultimate damage dishing thing. It is summoning Raging Spirits, which are a persistent buff. They are having Feeding Frenzy to do more damage. We don't care that they take more damage because they respawn all the time anyway. And they do fire penetration as well. I also embedded here Skeletal Arsonists. Yes, yes, have a laugh there. But while you're leveling, once again, why make your life harder while you're not complete Electro Station and while you're not dishing out as much damage as Emperor Palpatine was doing in Star Wars? You're not there yet, you are leveling, so make it easier for yourself. Skeletal Arsonists, Raging Spirits, throw in also Orb of Storms, obviously, to inflict shock on everything. I do it all the time, as you can see. Conduction gives it more chance to shock, and Lightning Exposure inflicts exposure. Now that we've done with that, so your first advice is go minions. Don't care about what anyone else is saying. You're leveling. Before you become pure lightning, you need to get any help you can get, and minions are going to help you. Spark versus Arc. I'm a big fan of Arc, which, as you know, some of my more successful videos on my channel, years, months old, are about Arc Witch in Path of Exile 1. Yeah, I recently revisited Arc Witch build, which is why it's dear to my heart. When I saw that Arc is present here as a skill in Path of Exile 2, I was like, well, why is everyone talking about Spark? I should definitely try Arc. Okay, so you can see here some footage me trying to swap away from Spark that I started leveling with, following Rax's guide, following some other people's guides, and I tried Arc. On paper, or on this data sheet kind of your DPS and other things, you can see that during the moment of swapping from Spark to Arc, it seems like you are almost doubling your DPS. Not quite, but almost doubling, like 70 to 80% more DPS you supposedly are going to be doing with Arc. Everything else deliberately is the same. We can argue as much as you want that Unleash works better on Support Gem, works better on Spark, and Arc probably would work better with Spell Echo. But we're not going to do that. We're using one-to-one comparison. I kinda don't enjoy playing Arc personally, so I first thought that I'm missing out, and I wanted to invite your opinions into the comments, hence the name of the video. Are we missing out, both you and I? I tried it, I gave it a shot through Traitor's Passage, primarily in Act 2 and Balbala the Traitor fight, and I can tell you that Arc here, for some reason, at this stage of the game anyway, maybe in endgame it changes, it feels slow. It doesn't feel chaining as much as original Arc from Path of Exile 1 did, even without any particular support. It just doesn't feel the right way. It's slow, it kind of just feels like I slowed down. Because the game is about having fun as well as being efficient, of course. Yeah, everyone wants to destroy everything in Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2 and 1, but at the same time, it is about having fun. And I'll be completely honest with you, even though it promises higher DPS, That's why it's a legit kind of attempt to improve my performance. But I don't think I enjoy how Arc plays here. It slows me down, as well as I just don't think it's as effective. Because when I swap back to Spark, and my DPS, technically speaking, drops, but there are so many more Sparks flying everywhere, especially if you're dealing, the boss is summoning ads, there is some trash and the boss, so there is basically more stuff to hit. Sparks are literally everywhere, and once again you can see that I'm not changing anything else. Literally, same gear, defensive kind of orientation, slightly slower as I spoke to you, not to repeat myself in the previous video, watch that if you want to. Slow down on boosting lightning damage, invest into defensives, run around with a normal tanking shield for the beginning, just so that you don't die all the time. Have minions support you, and dish out electric damage when you can, lightning damage, right? Spark just feels so much better. Final couple of observations on Balbala the Traitor, who is also not an easy target. Wrathbreaker is a hard boss. Balbala is a relatively hard boss at this level range. I can say that on Balbala, performance is somewhat similar, one could say. So I sort of spent the same time, more or less, killing her. But on Arc, I feel like I struggled more. I feel like it was slower. I felt like I ran out of charges on my life flask a lot sooner. So it's about how it feels. It was not fun. It was more stressful. I had to roll around more, and I felt like every shot of that arc that I was able to set off didn't do as much as those sparks that kept flying everywhere, hitting her a couple of times as they bounced, hitting other kind of things. So, all in all, let's summarize to not make this longer than it needs to be. First, there is no reason for you to be without minions. Don't care about what anyone else says. Experts are too high on their horse and they are scraping the top of the end game. How did they get there? We don't know, you and I, but it was painful for them if all they did was just shooting sparks and not doing anything else, because they are oh so purist. There is no need to make your life harder. Get minions to help you. Secondly, Arc will be attractive to you and you may want to try it, and maybe, just maybe, differently supported Arc will perform better than in my little test, like off the hip, kind of shooting off the hip test. But I came back to Spark. I tried Arc, had every intention to make it work and make another interesting video for you. But I hope that this video, if not super interesting, then at least it's useful. It saves you some of that experimentation time. Or maybe you were more successful with Arc than I was. Do share in the comments below. Always welcome everyone's opinion, as long as you're not a troll or not too high on your expert elitist horse. Thank you for watching. Talk to you next time about something else Path of Exile related. Goodbye for now.